This last week, we played Logic Bombs, which is a game that just came out last week to the day. In fact, it was released by Matthew Motosis. It's his first game, and it is just your kind of bog standard popcorn puzzler, Picross clone, but with its own set of rules. Obviously, some interesting stuff about it that I think Sesh mentioned. I think this game was made with entire cross compatibility for the Game Boy, which is kind of cool. Game Boy Advance, I think.
It's Game Boy.
No,
Game Boy.
just Game Boy. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. Did
Yeah,
it make like? Did he release like actual cartridges for it?
Don't think
No,
so.
But if you bought the game in the directory, there should be a Game Boy ROM.
Yeah,
Oh, that's very cool.
You could just flash the ROM onto a cartridge and play it on a Game Boy.
Anyway, kind of cool, but if not a little bit gimmicky. I don't mind just jumping straight into gameplay, the meat and potatoes, as it were. I want to hear your guys' opinions first. What worked and what didn't?
I don't think I really want to go first.
I was trying not to hog the conversation because I feel like I do that a lot. So I was just
I
letting you guys.
feel
Ben, what'd
like
you
you
think?
might because I didn't. I only. I guess full disclosure is that I only got to level 6, and that was with Thomas helping me. So no, I did. I don't feel like I got very far to have like a legitimate opinion on all of this. You know what I mean? And I'm also just not like a puzzle game player.
I mean, I think that's still a legitimate opinion.
I guess
So,
so.
like, talk about your
um,
talk about your experience up to the point that you quit. What made you quit? What did you like up to that point? Why did you quit in spite of whatever you liked?
That touches on stuff I wrote for the questions. Is that okay?
I will say like part of my I guess discussion points in this because I'm kind of like you where I don't feel like I have much to say even though I played it more. But I was more curious about just kind of like 5,000 foot overview design stuff is kind of what I was thinking about talking about. So if that is like a part of your like analysis here, I'd say just go ahead and say it.
Yeah. Uh, I'm just trying to figure out how to like properly dissect this because like I'm not like a like I'm such not I'm so not a puzzle guy that like I don't actually know what Picross is. I've seen the word, but like I don't know anything about it at all. Like if you showed me a Picross game and said it was Sudoku, I would be like, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Like that's how little I'm like locked into the puzzle scene, as it were. Um, Even that being said, and what I'm about to say, I feel like might be irrelevant in respect to like the intent of like the game and what it's supposed to be, but like I probably could have done with more brain dead tutorials, you know what I mean? Like just for
Yeah.
me personally, but like I don't know if that would make it a better game because I feel like um and this I guess this does touch into like what I wrote for the questions. I feel like that may be like the intent of like these types of games because like you guys and also other people that like I googled were getting through the game just fine and like learning all the rules. So I feel like making it more like handholdy would I feel like it would I don't know, maybe it's putting too many words into other people's mouths, but maybe it would like upset them. You know what I mean? If it was like
No,
catering like that.
I 100% agree with you, and it does kind of get into my answer to the question later on if you guys want to keep going down this path or not, but I agree completely.
Let's skip a little bit just so we don't tiptoe too early into it. Sash, unless you had something you wanted to say, I have like a specific thing that we can talk about. I think.
No, you can go. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to impose too much on the question, so that's fine.
Maybe less specific than I thought, but I think I, much more than you guys, if I had to guess, am a big fan of a term that I don't know if I invented or not, but like I said, I call this game a popcorn puzzler. Other games that might fall into that are your standard games like Sudoku, Ken-Kens, crossword puzzles, that kind of thing. But in terms of other video games, there's like Islands of Insight, Isles of Sea and Sky kind of falls under that. The Witness kind of falls under that. It's a much broader category than like those specific puzzle games, obviously. But I consider all of these games popcorn puzzlers. I fucking love popcorn puzzlers. There is like something very, very satisfying to me about just sitting down and like, especially if I'm at work or I'm like waiting in an airport or something, just sitting down, solving a couple puzzles. Maybe I like fail the first couple times I try it. I jump back into it later. It's something I enjoyed. It's something I've always enjoyed. Now, in that category, there's obviously a very wide breadth of games because, like I said, I mentioned The Witness, but like, this game and Picross are in there. When you have a game like this that, or like even Picross, that is distilling everything down to a single thing of like these logic puzzles, do you guys like that? Or is it fundamentally worse just because it doesn't have those like broader world situations?
So my answer to this is it's really just a matter of how it's set up because I feel like a way that I'm kind of reframing your question in my head right now is like, how do I derive satisfaction from a game like this? Um, and to me, that is just entirely dependent on how the game is set up in order to have me solve it. Because the thing that I like about these games and this game is that feeling of like getting into that 100% like focused flow state meditative thinking aspect of my brain that I can just like tap into. Like when I'm sitting there fucking coding Tommy body from midnight until 3 a.m. and all I'm doing is just feeling like I'm staring into the matrix as I type away. That's like the exact same feeling I get playing a game like this. And if a game is capable of keeping me engaged enough that it can do that, it doesn't matter what the mechanics surrounding it are. That is like the one thing that I want to get out of these games. And this game, I won't say it did it, but it wasn't far away either. It was very close, close but no cigar.
Yeah, I feel like my experience with it is every now and then I would get that, and because there are like quite a few different rules, that feeling, that flow state, pretty regularly feels different and kind of off-putting in a way because you want to be in the flow state, but there's always like a new thing that you're tracking that is disrupting your flow state, even though you're still in it. It's quite strange.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was poking at earlier. I think in the Discord channel is that you say you feel like this game is stripped down. I feel like there's like maybe one layer too much to where like the mental stack necessary to like keep track of some of these puzzles is just like really hard because like I don't know about you, but when I was doing some of the row 2 ones, um if I felt like I was like if I had one or two walls misclicked, it was like I'm not even bothered. I'm just gonna restart. Like there's no reason to comb over this whole thing. Like it is literally easier to just restart the entire level than it would be to like try and go over all of the rules presented to me to find like the one or two incorrect things that I might have. And that I think is the thing that kind of gets in the way of me being able to get into that like flow state playing this game.
It's so weird because like I can't even imagine the flow state you're describing. You know what I mean? But that I feel like that's
The
more about me than anything else.
Well, so like
This
like
game doesn't really
imagine
have
you're
that.
I mean, like imagine you're solving a puzzle and you have like nine rows that all are a nine. Like there's nine walls, one empty. And if you find one empty, then you get nine walls instantaneously because you know all of the rest are walls. That's the kind of flow state where you solve one thing and then like a
The
like a
House of
Jenga
Cards
tower
thing.
falling, it all
Yeah,
just falls into place.
that
Okay.
that that's a Picross thing.
That's probably
Yeah.
why I've never experienced it.
Yeah,
I
this
I
game
don't think
doesn't do it.
it's I don't think it's specific to Picross. I'd say it's true of most popcorn puzzlers. Like it's definitely
Yeah,
true
yeah,
in like Sudoku, Island Sword
Yeah,
Site.
I
a
actually
Sudoku for sure.
I actually feel like I have like a decent insight into why it is like difficult to find that like waterfall thing, but let's wrap up Seth's like question here first, and then I can talk about that because it's kind of a separate thing. So I'm
What was
curious,
the question
Ben.
again?
Yeah, go
Uh, it was basically, is this game compared to other kind of popcorn puzzlers like The Witness, for
Got it.
example, as like a high end? Is this game fundamentally worse because it doesn't have broader ideas that it's shooting for?
Yes, I can answer that question. So I'll try to answer it directly without going into like UI UX too much because I think that's the main issue with this game. So I think the main problem with this game and that why it's way worse than those is because there's two things. There's too much reductive reasoning that shows up immediately, and it's reductive reasoning that's like advanced Sudoku shit, and it's beginning this game shit. Because like Sudoku, you don't need to know how to do like X wings or XY wings, if you guys even know what I'm talking about, to be able to solve like easy to medium Sudokus. Whereas this game, you're already into insane reductive like you need to try a path and then go down that path 1 or 2 steps before you go back, which is like advanced Picross shit, like super hyper advanced endgame Picross. And this game does it in like fucking puzzle 8. It's crazy.
Yeah, this game definitely it starts off at way too high a level.
Yeah, and like
for sure.
without getting into my questions really at all, I think I did not have this feeling with Picross, maybe because it's simpler, but I might get into it later. There's some fucking hard Picrosses out there. But in any case, oh shit, I lost what I was saying.
Have you guys ever played nonograms? Very similar to Picross.
I thought that just was what Picross was.
It's very similar, unless other Picross games have this, where like where Picross just gives you like the total number of like things in a column or a row. Nonograms will tell you if they're broken up. Like it'll have two numbers.
That's Picross.
Okay, Picross does that too?
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, I haven't played Picross in forever, so I was just basing it off of this game. This game's
keep in mind, there's like 15 or 16 or fucking 20 different Picross games, and many of them have additional mechanics more than just creating walls.
Also,
usually,
go ahead, Jordan.
I was just gonna say, usually there's Picross, and then they have like Mega Picross, Super Picross, and that's kind of the additional mechanics that Seth said.
There's like color Picross, where in addition to the numbers, you have to do colors in the squares and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so like a huge thing that was missing for me in this game is that like what I would describe as maybe like the core part of Picross, which is that you're drawing a picture, right? So like that can help you like direct some of your choices if you can like spatially reason it out really well, but this game does not have that at all.
Well, I can tell you, being a big Picrosser, I think almost any time that you started to try to actually draw something with your Picross, that's when you were going to make a mistake in reasoning and fuck up. But I have an issue with that for a different reason that I'll probably bring up in the next category.
I mean, you definitely don't want to try and draw like pixel art when you're playing Picross, but it can definitely help you like form patterns and make like slightly more informed decisions in a way that's just totally absent in this game.
I think it's like just a cool gamification of the puzzle for Picross, where like as you're making it, you're like, oh shit, it's a snail, and then you just finish making the snail.
Yeah, if nothing else, at least it's like kind of a satisfying ending to the puzzle.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, this game felt like it should have, like, when you finish a level, it felt like it should have been something more grand, but like I feel like it just kind of happens too quickly, and like it's not cool enough to give a shit about.
Yep. Also, I just remembered what I was going to say earlier in response to what Seth said. I felt like this game had an inverted learning curve. It's like, I guess you could just say it's I guess you could say it's steep, but it's really just like a mountain, like a front-loaded mountain, where it's ludicrously difficult at the start, and then I won't say it gets like mesa, super easy, but
it flattens out.
Yeah, I actually agree. I actually agree. I was having an easier time with the row 2 puzzles than I was in like the middle part of row 1, I think.
Yeah, because I'm trying to avoid my question, but that's like one of my issues with the game, where like the first couple puzzles, that's true for basically every row. You're gonna really struggle when it introduces the new mechanic, because it's not teaching you any heuristics. You just got to figure it out, and then once you figure it out, the puzzles from that point are going to be a lot easier.
So One thing I was gonna bring up is I was like I was trying to like think about puzzle games again from like a 5,000 foot view. And I was thinking about the different ways that they can apply like cognitive styles, like cognitive thinking methods. And I was wondering what it was about certain games like Zachtronics games that I absolutely fucking love, versus other puzzle games that I bounce off of, like Talos Principle. I didn't bounce off that because I didn't like it, but I did bounce off it nonetheless. And I was thinking that I feel like a lot of puzzle games operate on some kind of like slider between spatial reasoning and linear reasoning. And so, one thing that I struggled with in this game is I feel like as I got older, I got way better at linear reasoning and way worse at spatial reasoning. Like I was so good at fucking chess and shit when I was a kid, and then as an adult, I was like struggling with organic chemistry because of all the spatial thinking you have to do, but I got so much better at linear reasoning by like programming and shit like that. So it like flip flopped. And one thing I found in this game was that I really, really struggled with finding the first move because I felt like the first move in this game is like it's very like spatially oriented, where you kind of have to look at it and make sense of it and kind of process it in your head in a more visual way. And then once you find that first like given move, then it's just kind of like the fucking floodgates open and you can just go from there because it morphs into something more linearly reasoned out from there. So I was just curious what you guys feel like. Like, do you prefer things that are more like spatial or linear? And I mean, there's way more shit than that. Like, you can get into like linguistic reasoning and shit. But I was just thinking about those two earlier.
I mean, this game I didn't really feel like I needed much spatial reasoning, but I think the worst thing about this game is how bad the UI is because like you should be able to make checkpoints and shit like that and be able to load the checkpoint, which I think would just basically I don't think it would solve the problem as you described it, but I think it would solve a spatial reasoning problem.
When you say checkpoint, are you talking about like tactical nexus saves?
Basically, so like you'd be at a point in the puzzle and then you click save and then you do your line of reasoning and go, oh, that was wrong, and then you just click load instead of having to redo the whole puzzle because you don't know where you were at that point in time.
That would be such a better option than the quote unquote hint system that they provided.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's good, Tom.
And I was just gonna say like that's like a big thing that like actually pissed me off about the game, and it's why I was saying like if I knew I had made a mistake deep into a puzzle, it was easier for me to just fucking restart the whole goddamn
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest follies of this game, besides it being like the difficulty being like dog shit, is the all UI related issues. But when a puzzle game is basically just like UI and logic, you kind of have to have a good UI or else it's gonna be fucking trash.
And I feel like a lot of that stuff is really not difficult to implement. So, like for example, in Sudokus, if you ever play a Sudoku game on your phone, every single one of them that isn't like some weird Chinese fucking scam or whatever is going to have an option where you can write small numbers in the
Yeah,
corners. And like, what do you do in Sudoku? You have two boxes that could either be 5 or 7, and you write them there, and you know those two boxes are covered. Why doesn't
Yeah.
this game let you do that for that
They,
exact scenario that comes up repeatedly with empties and walls?
they
yep,
have that in fucking crossword puzzles even.
yep. Yeah, it's penciling it in. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
fucking that's some like shit that's older than computers, basically. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
I
something
think
like that
UI
really bugs me
UX.
when, yeah, I just feel like it would not have been hard to implement even with the limitations of trying to make it GBA compatible or
Oh, definitely
Yeah.
GBA
not.
compatible.
Yeah, I was thinking that without like knowing too much about like the technological side of having to like want to port this game to the Game Boy, which is definitely an exercise in rule of cool, but also like very masturbatory and
Yes,
probably held this game back in
yes.
some aspects in a lot of
Yeah,
ways.
Yeah, so I could speak. There's another game that's not like this game at all, but I think it's called Void Genesis. It's something like that. It's kind of like Smash TV, and that like you do a single screen and then you move to the next thing. And that game was kind of the same in this game, and that game they also released on Sega Genesis at the same time. But the Sega Genesis version was like a reduced version with like that had to abide by like palette limitations and stuff like that. And the PC version was like a more fleshed out, better controls because it wasn't limited to a 3 button game, kind of shit like that. So like just because you're going to do a dual release doesn't mean you need to have them be parity across both. Like you can be like, okay, the PC players want these features, give them that. And if you want to play it on Game Boy, you're going to expect these to not have the same quality of life because it's the fucking Game Boy. So to make the PC version like reductive because of that is like just asinine.
And I mean, to be fair, they did include stuff that wasn't in the Game Boy, right? Like they had that like the modern shader thing that you could use that, quite frankly, looked like fucking AI interpolated dog shit. It was
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, like there was obviously a consideration made for Steam release versus Game Boy release.
Yeah. And I don't give them a pass for that. Like I think that's just full docking from me.
No, I mean, I think that's fair, but like, I guess my point of even bringing that up is like, if you were going to, if you knew that you were going to have discrete releases where you've got like one that's obviously for the Game Boy and one that's obviously for Steam, like, why didn't you include more QOL shit in
Yeah.
the Steam release? Like, because you've already added something, so you're obviously not seeking to have like 100% parity between the two versions.
Yep.
So. Why
Agreed.
not? Why not let it fly?
Agreed.
I can understand trying to keep the features at parity for both versions because, like, if you make them two different, it's basically like making two different games, which I guess technically he already was, but even more so.
Yeah, but again, like,
Yeah.
let's be. How many people are playing this game on a fucking Game
Yeah,
Boy?
exactly. Yeah, so I mean, I don't disagree with one of the original points, which is the Game Boy version held the game back, and um, it probably would have been a better outcome. Like more, like you guys probably would have had a better experience with the game. It sounds like if it was just concentrated on a desktop
Oh
release, or
yeah.
like not
Well,
desktop, but like uh, a modern release,
Yeah.
I guess.
No, I agree
I mean,
completely.
can someone also tell me if this game is not available in cartridges, what's the point of making it Game Boy compatible?
You can
Just
flash it onto a cartridge.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sure.
You can absolutely do that. I have a blank Super Nintendo cartridge that Jeff from Tappers put something on. I don't have a Super Nintendo anymore, and I don't remember what the fuck was on there. But it's you just need like a very cheap piece of hardware, and you can
Yeah.
flash ROMs onto cartridges pretty easily.
You could do a bootleg one,
Okay.
or you can just do like one of like the flash carts that just has like all the games in the world on it, and then just load it onto that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like nostalgia bait to me.
No, it
Oh
is.
yeah. Again, it's 100% just like it was just, and I respect this because I like when people do this shit. The guy just thought, I wonder if I could port this to the Game Boy, and then he made it happen. And do I think it's extremely cool? Yes. Did it result in what is probably a worse product? Also, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I was interested in the game because he also released it alongside Game Boy. So if it would have been a good game too, it would have been fucking sick. I shouldn't say good game.
Okay.
If it would have been a game that I enjoyed, it would have been fucking sick.
This feels like a good enough pivot into art audio UI.
Yeah.
If Sesh, you want to bring up some of your standout bits.
I mean, I thought that nothing was good about this game in this section. Like literally nothing. I thought the pixel art was shit that like we could make easily. There is no music, which is a fucking sin. I'd rather have you have shitty fucking music that the guy made with his mouth than have no music. I think that's just like unforgivable.
So
And the sound effects or whatever.
I will give it a little bit of credit. I think you're being a little too harsh on the visuals. At least, I think as far as program art goes, it's pretty good.
I actually disagree. I actually think the game looks fucking horrendous. I'm with Jordan.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying like the fidelity of the game is great. I just mean, like, I've seen so much program art in so many different projects, and like, I personally think that Logic Bombs is like leaps and bounds ahead of like some of the shit that I've seen. Some like the amalgamations of like different art styles and like clip art and like I don't know. Like I've seen,
I
I don't know.
mean,
It just I can't call it bad.
I mean,
okay, so yes, like I'm not gonna hold it up to the same like shitty substandard of like the worst of the worst scraping the bottom of the barrel shit, but I mean, is a 2 out of 10 really that much better than a 1 out of 10, you know?
I mean,
I'm
there's barely even any art. He made like 4 sprites.
yeah, but I feel like that's all you need for a game like this. I feel like it. I don't know. I've
Well,
I
so
hesitate to call it bad. I guess is what I'm saying.
here's my thing. Here's my thing is that in a puzzle game that is so like stripped down of anything other than just the puzzles, like the thing that makes some of these games really good, like games like Baba Is You, um, is like you allow some degree of like charm to bleed through the art, through the music, through just like the overall like presentation. And Baba's You is not a beautiful game. Like it's programmer art. It's okay. It's a little better than that, but um, like just that tiny extra degree of like effort that could have gone into it to just have a little extra presentation to give me a little extra charm when this game has
Yeah, yeah.
zero, absolute
I
zero.
mean, I don't disagree with any of that. It's just I don't know. It's just consistent and not like offensively bad, at least to me.
Yeah, no, I mean he did a great job at making the literal minimal amount of visual work that he needed to have a non-cluttered screen that is very visually clear to the player.
Yeah,
Nothing about this game is ever going to sell merch or anything like that, though. It is
it's,
so forgettable.
No, yeah, for
I mean, I'll
sure.
say I have three little comments. Number one, if I'm looking at this through the lens of a game that was released on the Game Boy and came out when the Game Boy came out, I think it would have been fine. Like, I probably would have played the absolute fuck shitload out of this game if it came out when I was a kid on the Game Boy. Um, Number two, although there aren't a lot of assets, I kind of agree with Ben. Individually, like for example, I have the game pulled up and I'm just looking at how each sprite fits into the box and how it changes when you create a path from the bomb to the cat, for example. Like I think the way all of it fits individually and doesn't disrupt the puzzly natures is good. That's a very soft good. Like
I
I
Yeah,
mean,
hesitate to go above
here's
like 6 out of 10 in that quality.
I guess
Like
here's like my final take on it is that I'm still with Jordan here in the sense that the like pixel art and stuff in this game is the absolute bare fucking minimum to not be dreadful. Like it is
yeah,
pure function. It is absolutely
yeah,
pure function and no
yeah.
charm.
I agree. It is a bare minimum to the point where I would not like reduce my rating on account of the art assets. It is like exactly a 5 or a 5.5 maybe.
See, but the thing is like I feel like the if something doesn't look good like this, like you have to rely on things being greater than the sum of their parts, right? So, like if there was music, if there was like some scrolling text telling me that like I was a fucking knight rescuing a princess and I had to do fucking puzzles to do it or whatever, like just that tiny extra push to make it more than just like some guys, it's just the most low effort shit ever. It's like the guy spent an afternoon doing it, slammed it down on its desk, and was like, "All right, that's good enough. I'm going to design the puzzles now," and then just never thought about it again. And I can't praise something for being like bare minimum effort.
I mean, I understand. I don't disagree, but like even then, I still can't call it like specifically the word bad.
Yeah, like for example, if you look at some of the sprites and life lessons, for example, some of those things look fucking terrible.
They
Oh
are
yeah,
so much more memorable and charming than anything that this game even tried to do.
I actually agree
I
with
love
that. Yeah.
But
hindsight.
I mean,
Hindsight's the
isn't
goat.
that memorable because they're bad though?
Doesn't matter. It's still memorable. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, but it's still bad. It's still like a sub
Tactical Nexus
five.
has
Yeah, let
pretty
me.
bad art and pretty bad music, but I fucking love it because it's like cheesy MIDI bad.
Maybe it's just like me being semantic, but like I'd personally describe this game as bland as opposed to bad.
Yes, I think yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
To me, it's basically the same thing. I think bland is worse than bad.
yeah. I actually tend to agree with that. Like, and again, Um, like if it was bland, but like it was like a whole package of bland, that would be one thing. But without like anything beyond the bland pixel art, no music, no like even attempted a story or whatever. Yeah, it's
Well,
just I don't know.
like although I think this game should have music, like objectively I think it should have music, I think for me something that pushes something into bad territory over bland territory, where bland does not equals bad to me, is when you put an asset in and I actively don't want to listen to it. So like for example in this game, even though I think some of the tactile sounds that play when you like place a wall or whatever, I think it's like they're not horribly designed, but I still don't like to hear them. Like in a sense, I should like have a good feeling when I put a wall down, but that's not the feeling that I get when I place the wall because I don't like the sound.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, go ahead, man.
So, I mean, if you're gonna continue off this point, you should, because I was about to go on a
Oh yeah,
tangent.
yeah. So I was just gonna say, if you have something like that that's bad, make it good. Don't erase it. Like I think if you erase it, that's the worst thing that you can do. The absolute worst thing. Because I'd rather have people do bad things that I need to work around rather than be like, there's nothing here, you didn't even try. What the fuck?
So here's also how I'm gonna think about it. Right? Is to me, high effort but bad is oftentimes more commendable in my mind than no effort and bland. And I'm going to draw upon a very specific example here, which is playing. Oh, what's that fucking game called? The Bananagrams thing that we play online.
Fuck
The
is
drawing,
bananagrams.
the fucking
Mod,
drawing. What's that called?
garlic
Drawful?
phone.
Gardic phone. Yeah. So in Gardic phone, right? Like it is fucking hilarious when someone like put some amount of effort to draw their prompt, even though it looks dog shit. And then you get to Waters and he drew like a circle and four lines with like a huge dick and didn't even try at the prompt. So like that is as bland and low effort as
Yeah.
it can possibly get, and it's not anything that your brain is ever going to register, and it's not commendable. So that's kind of where my head is at. Is
But like
Yeah.
that
to
specific
to me,
So,
comparison?
it feels like the better example is you tell someone to draw an apple and they draw a banana. Like that, it might be like a perfectly fine drawing of a banana, but that's not what you asked them to draw.
Yeah, but that's different from the example I put forth too, because I mean, I'm saying someone actually put effort into drawing the prompt. They can't draw for shit. It looks fucking terrible versus some guy who just drew a stick figure with a dick on it, even if the prompt had nothing to do with that.
yeah, so I guess when I'm talking about this part specifically, I might be putting like too much context that might be unwarranted because like the context that like I think about when I'm talking about this is like I think about Matthew Motosis specifically and like kind of gets kind of like the journey he went through to like make this game. So from what I understand, he's like a full-time YouTuber and he just really loved his electronics games and he just decided to pick up programming. And I don't know like how long it took him. I imagine it took him probably a pretty long time to like learn all the skills to make this game. And then when I think about that and then, like how much of that time could he spare to learn how to like make art, that's the reason why I feel like I'm pretty forgiving of what he came up with is because like all that context that might be unwarranted in terms of like an analysis, but it's just I can't really separate it in my mind.
Yeah, that's totally fine for like your perspective. Like I'll never forgive not trying. I would much rather him have shitty music and like shitty side border art or something that he drew and iterated on once or twice, and then be
Yeah,
like, oh, it sucked. Like the life lessons music, like it was fun to be there, even though like it was like fucking like ear bleeding, like because it's just fun to be around. If it was just silence, it would be weird, and you'd be like, you didn't even try. I don't know. At least for
well,
me.
I guess for me, like I think it's really harsh to say that like it's like no effort art because like I've been to like so many game jams and also so many like game development classes where I've seen like true like sloth and like true
Sure.
like what the fuck why are you here and like this game is like so far above that like that's just I don't know it kind of like colors it kind of like defines like the minimum quote unquote score I could like rate
Sure.
I mean,
UI and UX.
I don't know. I mean, if there's only going to be a grand total of like how many assets are in this game? Like less than 15, less than 20 probably total. Um, why not put the extra effort in to like make them look good? Either that or just like make some more fucking assets that just look equally shit. Like I don't I just can't get over the feeling that like I would rather I would rather read a fucking term paper from someone who can barely from Chris Smith. I love you, Chris. I would rather read a term paper from Chris Smith than some dude who just typed a prompt into ChatGPT and copy and pasted that because I appreciate like the effort that goes into it. And there's no amount of effort that felt like it oozes from the art assets in this game and I don't know, I can't get over that.
Well, I feel like there was effort, at least to make it consistent in style, which I do, which is the part I appreciate about it. Because obviously the fidelity is zero, but like it was just, I don't know. I just felt like it looked exactly how I think
Well,
he wanted it to look.
sure,
I guess.
it all looks consistent because there's like again less than 15
Yeah.
assets. It's not hard to keep things consistent when you only have like a few things to keep consistent.
Yeah, but I feel like just the decision of being minimal is like to its benefit. And it plays into the strengths of the developer specifically. Like, I'm making a lot of assumptions if I say that, but I'm willing to bet that he's not a good artist.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean I guess I do have to like once again remind myself that he did want to put this game on a Game Boy, so but Game Boy can do more than this game did, so
Yeah, for sure. And then also he had that extra filter mode, which I don't, I
looked
don't know what he
awful.
was,
It
I
looked
don't know what he
worse.
was
It
thinking
looked
with that,
worse. Yeah.
but
Yeah, it looked even
yeah,
worse. Yeah,
yeah,
like I said, it just looked like fucking AI art interpolation on
yeah,
like
but
his fucking
yeah,
six by
and
six pixel art.
I only bring that up to give credit to like your argumentation because like that is an area where he could have done more flourish, and it still would have fit. Like just as long like just don't like animate anything, but like having like better graphics in that extra filter mode would
I
have been
think
appreciated.
I think that's what it is that he needed. Fucking like single frame animation switching to make the whole boards feel alive. Because that's what
Yeah.
Tactical Nexus
Okay,
has, where
I
it's
see
just like
what you're
that single
saying.
frame, like it's just the single frame of like left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Like that's, but it makes it feel
Yeah,
like so much more alive.
Yeah, like
yeah.
yeah, you're right.
I
Yeah.
think like anything along those lines in the vein of trying to make it feel a little bit more alive would definitely help because I think one area where it definitely loses points for me. Don't quite know if this could, maybe this would count as narrative, but to me, and maybe this is a bit silly, but I've played a lot of Picross. The best part of Picross is when you finish it and you finally realize what you were drawing the entire time. Like, oh, I made a flower. Oh, I made
Yeah,
a house. How cool!
Oh yeah.
And when this game first got sent in the channel, I was like, ooh, Bomberman. I like Bomberman, and I would
yep,
expect some of that to play through a little bit. And you have the only thing you get is at the very end when everything explodes and goes whoop 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 like you're hitting a high score, but
yeah.
there's no score. You're not earning anything. I feel no sense of satisfaction when the bombs go off. When the game is called Logic Bombs, something should happen. It should
So
there should be anything.
so, so I 100% agree, and I'll even take it a step further and say that when I solved a puzzle, I was actively mad because one thing, and this is a UI thing that for the life of me I could not figure out or stand because I feel like if you gave me this guy's code, I could have written this button for him in like literally 5 minutes. So in the screenshot that I posted there, that's I think it's either a later row one puzzle or somewhere in row two. I saw the solution like almost as soon as I opened the puzzle. I was like, oh, okay. And the word inclined being there kind of again gave it away. So I knew exactly what I needed to do. So I went click, 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 click. And then I had to spend fucking like 45
Yeah,
seconds just drawing all of the fucking X's and getting annoyed when it would transition to removing the X's, even though I was holding it down. Why
yeah.
is there not a fucking like just add X to all empty button?
I don't
Again,
know why
this
you need to define
So
empty.
Okay, so this actually there's a button in the lower right, which is in my I don't know if you guys ever clicked on it, but it's in my opinion this is the most useless button of all time.
Oh,
Yeah,
to flip
that was
it, yeah,
That
hilarious. Yeah.
button that button could have been used as like a fill. Like like
yeah.
I don't know, something. Something could have been done other than having the button that he actually
I
put
think
in
that's a
there.
Game Boy thing.
Oh, is it?
Because you know how
Okay.
like sometimes you want to swap jump between B and A or something like that. I think if someone's like, "Why does
Uh
B cancel?" Then you press that button. So I think it's
Mhm.
only. I think that's a Game Boy feature, like first and foremost.
I
yeah, but
I
why does it need
honestly,
No, I agree.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree.
like why does it need to be on the gameplay screen?
Yeah,
Why isn't
I
there like a
agree.
separate settings menu for like global settings like that? Kind
I
of
think
like where the filters are, like the where you can
I
change the way the game looks.
I don't have
Oh, the
anything. I don't
filters
have a
are
good
on
answer.
the
Oh,
filters
is
are on
it?
the UI screen too.
Oh, is it? Fuck. I think you're right.
But you open like
Okay.
a hamburger menu, and then that opens that up, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it has the hamburger menu with
Oh, you're
actual
saying you
like
could
sound
change the
rumble,
filter?
whatever. No, you can. You don't even change the filter in the hamburger menu. You just change it in the four options on the corners.
Oh, I think I did it in the hamburger menu.
I don't.
But yeah, now that
I
you
don't know. I
say
don't
it,
see it
yeah,
in
clicking on the
Yeah.
slime guy,
Well, I do remember. Yeah. So there is an alternate settings menu, right? Or like, did I
almost
imagine that?
certainly.
Yeah.
Unless we
So that
both
that's what
imagined
I'm
it.
saying is like that button could have just been moved to that
No, I
settings
agree.
panel permanently, and then that frees up a spot for something that could actually be
Checkpoints.
useful.
Yeah.
Like this is the number. This goes into like part of my answer to the question, but it's also part of the UI, so I should bring it up here. I wish that button was replaced with a button that would just bring up a list. Like it would just cover the screen that, and you could dismiss it when you could toggle it on, and dismiss it whenever you want. It would just bring up an overlay that just shows all of the rules that you have learned up to this point and show what all
Yep.
the icons mean. Because like I remember when I was asking for help, I didn't. It occurred to me when you guys were explaining the answers to me that I didn't really know like what a bomb was or what a slime was or like a cat or whatever the fuck it was. Like I didn't really know what they were like at all, and I still don't honestly. I just never bothered to like learn what they are.
I mean, to go back to the art, I didn't even realize the bombs were fucking bombs for a while.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the number one thing. Like
Yeah,
when I was asking for a solution, you were like, make sure like the bomb is like this. I'm like, that's a bomb.
yeah, exactly. Which is fucked up.
Okay, I
Especially
now
when
that
it's
Yeah.
the title of the
so
game.
so here's the thing. Like I was writing all that defense for the visuals, but now that I see the screenshot in front of me, like I do like I just wish there was like a legend. Like
Sure.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of the screen again. Fuck the Game Boy people. Let them fucking deal with it. But we have a bunch of the fucking screen that you can use it.
yeah,
I'd be
I can
I'd
see
be
that.
in, I'd be interested to know how many people who bought this game flashed it onto a Game Boy Cart and
It's
actually played it.
Has to
there's
be
no way it's
single
more.
digits, and
There's yeah. I
that
was gonna say
digit.
I would not be surprised if it was just actual zero.
zero.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was gonna say single digit, and that includes zero.
Yeah, there's no
I
way
mean,
it's 10 or higher. No
I
way.
will say, like with a lot of this UI stuff, I feel like the Game Boy wasn't even a huge part of the issue with some of it because, like, when
Oh
it
no,
comes to like
yeah, no.
controls, for example, I don't even think it uses the left and right bumpers at all. Oh wait, Game Boy didn't have
Game
that.
Boy
Did
doesn't
it?
have it.
Oh God, you know
Never
what?
mind.
A thought that just entered into my head that I don't want to let flee is it is so you said the fact that there's no music in this game is a sin because it's a puzzle game. I'm
Yeah.
saying the fact that there's no music in this game is a sin because he ported it to the fucking Game Boy. The Game Boy
Yeah.
sound chip is so fucking sick and he
Yeah.
was just like, I don't need music. Like what
Dude,
the fuck, dude?
yeah. I mean, I've heard the songs that fucking Vert made with the Game Boy. It's like inexcusable.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially like I don't know when I exactly want to talk about this, but like when the game is actively trying to tell you to sit back and relax and just solve puzzles, like I want some
Yeah.
fucking music playing when I'm relaxing.
Yep.
Picross has it. Every fucking game like this has it.
Yep. Zachtronics games has fucking awesome ass music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
dude. Fucking Codex of Alchemical Engineering. The song in that game is fucking good.
It's every game. Like I don't think they've made bad music, but at least like you can always vibe out to it. But like that's why it's so like cardinally shitty for me. And that's for any game. Like I don't know. I feel like music is integral to gaming.
yeah, so like I'm making a lot of assumptions, but I'm just assuming the fact that there's no music, unless he stated like explicitly himself, is probably because he just doesn't know how to make music.
I mean, that's fine. He could have used this as a project to learn, or he could have paid someone on Fiverr to make shitty music, or he could have used royalty-free music. I've played
Yeah,
fucking
well,
those golf games with royalty-free music in them.
I mean, yeah, but like, and I'm also gonna make the assumption with like the art as well as that like it probably was like a sticking point to him to like for this product to be 100% like
Uh,
his labor,
That's totally
maybe.
fine.
I sure, but also like I don't know. He's a content creator. He could have partnered with someone, and it would have been cool.
I mean, I don't know the guy's history, but if he had to learn every aspect of game dev from the ground up in order to produce this game, like including like literally following a Hello World tutorial for Unity or whatever, why not spend a month learning how scales and harmonies work? Because it's actually not that hard to make music that sounds like palatable to the ears.
Oh no, I tried learning music theory for 1 month in high school, and to be fair, I was super dumb and lazy when it came to stuff like that. But like I couldn't understand even like 1% of it.
Yeah, I completely understand if he's like, this is my project, I want to do everything, and I don't value music, so I'm not going to do that, and that's totally fine, and he's totally within his right. But I'm going to talk hella shit about it the whole time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't mean to like
Yeah, yeah,
devalue
yeah, yeah.
your judgments. Like
No, no,
it's definitely a flaw.
and in the same, like I want, like, it's something to be celebrated that he like released a product on Steam like completely by himself. It's just I don't give extra leniency, especially not if you didn't try. That's the worst thing to me. I'd rather it be awful than you not try.
Yep.
Yeah, but and I guess like there's
So
also the possibility that he did try and it was really fucking bad.
that's okay, dude, because like here's I honed in on why this is like a sticking point for me. Like me personally, I'm not gonna like project this onto anyone else, but like think about the fucking movies I like to watch, right? Like all these fucking like terrible Joe Bob Briggs like movies from hell that like no sane person should watch and enjoy. But I fucking love watching terrible shitty movies because there was passion, there was effort, it just went in a very wrong direction. And I like seeing the fruits of that ill-advised labor because like these people they gave it their god's honest effort even if the end product was something to belittle.
Yeah, no,
uh
no. And I think the game would have been better for sure with like literally any music, but like and I don't know if this is warranted. I'm just being empathetic, I guess, to him and like as a creator. Like if I made something that did not meet my standards, I wouldn't want it out there in the world, like period.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean
I get it,
that is true, that is absolutely true, but
but I think it's unforgivable because like I'd rather him just like literally take a song that he likes from a puzzle game that he likes and then switch the fucking scales and change the tempo a little bit and then boom, you have a song. Like there's so many
yeah.
ways that you can cheat code it to at least try.
What like again, what really bothers me is that it's a combination of what you guys are saying, where like yeah, try, but if you're not going to try, or if like whatever your attempt was failed in your eyes, then just get like partner with someone,
Yeah, that
do
too.
something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I get it. Like if you want that to be your goal, that's great, and you want to be proud of this thing that you made, fine. But make your game good. Partner with someone. Go on Fiverr.
Yeah. And like something like Adventures of Lolo, I just looked it up. It has like 6 minutes of music in the whole game. The game's like not short. It had, like I don't know. I can't imagine it would take that long to make like literally just one track that's a 3 minute loop, and that's what it plays on every puzzle. And then when you win the level, it plays a little fucking 4 second jingle.
Yeah, like this game probably, at least in this aspect, probably would have ascended for me if each row had its own
Yeah,
song and the
that would
song
be
sounded
crazy. If they and then like let's say the enemies change and the slime changes to like a princess or something, like literally just every tier just changes like the every asset, it just flips the asset to a different asset and it's functionally the same thing.
yeah, I mean, like kind of bringing narrative along into this, like that was one of my issues again, where like I want that payoff at the end
Yeah.
where I blow up all the bombs and shit. And if I'm to take it to like the far end of what can be good, if any of you have played Terra Nil, that game is a good example of a game where you're kind of just doing like piecewise things and developing a thing, and then at the very end you just get to see the fruits of your labor, and like you see this landscape that you've built grow and become lush and vibrant. Like, I don't need anything crazy like that from a game like this, but like, I don't know, just make the fucking cats fly off the
Yeah.
screen. I don't know if you can do that with Game Boy, but
No,
like,
but again,
just
fuck them.
like, add a tiny little bit of narrative at the start where it's like, oh, we're blowing up all these invasive cats so that we can grow a field, and then all the squares turn green at the end. Like,
Yeah,
just
no.
something.
Agreed. Like there's just way too much of like a like hyper autistic focus on the
Yes.
puzzles and just literally nothing else. And for me, like I just seriously like I would love to know what the impetus was for wanting to port this game to the Game Boy without music. Like again, the Game Boy sound chip is like fucking legendary. There's like
Tetris.
go fucking listen to Sunsoft games from the fucking Game Boy. Like they are so goddamn sick. And like how did he go from I want to put this game on the Game Boy as just kind of like a this is cool thing, but also I'm not going to make any music. The through line there doesn't make any sense to me. Now the one place I will grant grace on that thought is I have no fucking idea what it would take to make music that you could both release on a Steam game and that would play inside of a Game Boy. Like I don't know if he would have to like interface with the actual like sound chip hardware
Yeah.
to make that work.
I mean, that's the
So
hard part for sure. Like he made it 80 times
yeah,
harder on himself by making it need to be on the Game Boy because
but
like on PC it'd be fucking easy.
But there's so many fucking trackers for Game Boy that I guarantee you could like
Yeah.
translate that into something that the Game Boy can read very simply.
I mean, I watched fucking Vert literally make music like on a Game Boy,
Oh yeah.
so it's
Oh yeah.
possible.
Yeah, I love watching those dudes fucking like DJ on Game Boys
Yeah.
with just like so much shit poking out of them.
Yeah, and I think it is a little bit unfair to kind of project masterpiece ideals onto a game like this because I don't think it's supposed to be anywhere near like a complete package like something like Stardew Valley or like Void Stranger or any of those like games that like feel like complete games. I think this is more meant to be what Seth said of like popcorn puzzler. So I think I'm being slightly too harsh on them, but I also think in the same sense, especially what Seth said, like level completion should feel good, and that's the best time for fanfare. That's the best time for like I don't know, have some dudes come in and light the bombs before they blow up, like have it be more of a spectacle. Like it's very like Tom said, just very like fucking autistic about like everything needs to be centered around logic, which yeah, wasn't clever at all. It was just dry.
Yeah, and let me clarify. Like, I didn't want this dude to figure out how to make like songs that would
Yeah,
compete with Vert or like pixel art that would compete with fucking like shop menus in Undertale or whatever. Um, I just wanted something. Like, even if it was just like when the Saints go marching in and the Game Boy
yeah.
sound chip on fucking loop, I would have been okay with that.
That's actually a great point. That's literally what you do. Like that's fucking if you don't have a composer, you take classical music and then you put it in any VST in fucking Fruit Loops, and then ta-da, you did it.
Yeah,
Like
literally anything.
the end is nigh, which is like a Meat Boy sequel, was literally it was all just classical music remixes.
I just thought of something kind of tangentially off of what Seth brought up with like a not having satisfying feedback, like just not having the bombs go off ever
Yeah,
until you succeed, basically. I don't know what it would take to code this because and I literally only thought about this for like the past 15 seconds. But like, what if one of those buttons was replaced with a button that says like execute puzzle, like
that'd
no
be
matter
sick.
Yes,
what?
it should have
And
done that.
yeah, so instead of having that cheat button, the button that you
Yep,
guys hate, have that button, and then you click that button, and then the bombs go off from left to right, and the first time a rule is broken, the simulation stops, and it
yep,
lets the player know like what rule is fucked up. So then that way, that's like another way for the player to know uh, how to fix their mistake, as opposed to needing to like do the trial and error with that cheat button.
absolutely.
Yep, you just
Yeah.
like flash red whatever is wrong. Like, it doesn't have to be anything more complicated than flashing red whatever is
Yep.
breaking the rule.
So I think I read somewhere, this might have been one of you guys' posts in the Discord channel, that like the reason that the developer, the fucking Matthew whatever, didn't include like numbers inside like how many walls you had inside of a column, right? So like rather than having to sit there and like arduously count everything, just literally have a number that tells you how many you have in the row or column is because he didn't want the game to just become a matter of trial and error. And I fucking laugh in the face of that when I think about pressing fucking H in this game. So
Man, when the H button was introduced, I had to step away from the game for like a day because of how disgusted I was by its inclusion.
The H key is like literally what like convinced me I was never gonna put serious time into this game.
I think it's fine to have a hint system, but the way he introduces it is like the worst thing I've ever seen in puzzle games, and I don't think I'm being hyperbolic. Like I think it's literally the worst level in a puzzle game I've ever played.
I was going to bring this up as an example of a game that is of similar level of quality. It's only $4 on Steam, and I might have brought it up before, but the game Mimic Logic, which is literally just an entire game of parlor puzzles from Blueprints. I enjoyed it. I played a couple hours of it, and it was pretty fun. But I thought the hint system in that game was one of the best I've ever seen. And it's not complicated, but it doesn't tell you a whole lot. It's not going to directly give you the answer almost ever. But what it is going to give you is a heuristic in order to solve the puzzle that you're looking at. So, like, if x plus y equals 2, then z must equal 3. It'll give you some kind of heuristic like that in order to help guide you to the conclusion, not just for this puzzle, but kind of teach you how to think for future puzzles too. Because if you're not understanding what you need to do on this puzzle, then you're probably not going to understand what you need to do on future puzzles. And that's why the hint system in this game is so goddamn bad. It's not teaching you anything. There's not a single thing that it's teaching you other than you fucked up somewhere, good luck.
Agreed.
And
it literally like tells you like if you could figure out how to fucking use it, then you could figure out how to solve the puzzle. And it's like,
yeah, and there's just no point to it. And introducing something like that and outright stating like you can cheat if you want to, it's up to you, the choice is yours. Like there's no point to that. Just make it a menu option and say I don't get the little like make it so that the block, the square and the level select doesn't fill if you use it. Like just disgusts me.
Agreed.
It's actually funny because the impetus for me suggesting those changes, with that button that would execute the puzzle, like, the whole reason why I suggested it is because I just wanted a way to trigger the explosion animation of the bombs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the game that Seth talked about, Mimic Logic, is like RPG Maker fucking default sprite shit, and I like it a million billion times better than this game.
Yeah, I was just looking it up just now on Steam while you guys were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I would buy it. Maybe $4 is too much, but like if it was on sale, even from $4, I would consider buying it.
It's definitely not a Ben game, especially if this wasn't a Ben game. And if
and that's exactly why I say that like I would buy it if it was on sale from its $4 price point.
But I think it's a good comparison for this game because, like, you know, the similar level of quality, of course, but also the game is called Mimic Logic. It has logic in the title, just like Logic Bombs, but it isn't like ridiculously egregious in this is a game about logic. I am a logician, and this is a realm of pure logic. Like,
I was trying to not bring that up because I think that's narrative.
Yeah, I was avoiding it.
Transitioning there.
I was avoiding it because it's cringe and it doesn't make me feel nice to think about the thoughts in my head.
I was going to bring it up a narrative without a fucking doubt.
Wait, there was a narrative? Like,
in the sense of, kind of in the sense of, I think the narrator, aka the words that you see, kind of contribute to what anything could be described as a narrative in this game, because it kind of gives it a tone. But we'll wait till we get to there.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't get far enough.
I kind of wanted to.
I didn't get far enough.
I kind of wanted to just jump over the narrative. I feel like we tore Art Audio UI into the ground as much as needed.
Yeah, for sure.
The narrative is like it's the douchiest, worst feeling thing I've like ever seen in a game, and not like, and it's 2 ticks away from being like a HAL AI kind of thing where it would be fucking awesome. Instead, it just feels like it's this douchebag talking to me from his bedroom, and it drove me. I think if you just lean like going into narrative, if you just lean into it being like a GLaDOS style thing, and it's just a thing talking shit to you, and while explaining to you the rules, it's suddenly very cool.
Yeah, or it's just like kind of like Elohim from Talos Principle, where it's just like a god figure.
Yeah.
Like if you characterize the voice in the
Yeah.
tone, like the character of a tone that you're trying to take, then yeah, it becomes completely approachable.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like I've pretty much talked this point to death already. That like just the game just needed something, and this is an avenue of the game where there could have been that extra something, and it's
Yeah.
just not there.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because like I didn't get far enough to like really get the vibes of the quote unquote narrator, but if there actually I'm just rehashing Sesh's point. Like you brought up the Hal thing. You that's really all that was needed, and it would have been fine.
Yeah. It would have been so good.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been great because it
Because
would just
yeah,
talk shit to you.
and it is kind of like an amplified problem because he is a popular content creator because there isn't a stand-in villain to represent the words that are being said in those levels. You kind of just think that it's
Yeah.
him being a dick to you.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's like it's like a negative,
Yeah.
right? Because if you make it a character, then the character's a dick. But if you don't, then it's just the guy who made the game and he's a dick. Like, so yeah, even if he is a dick, just put it behind a character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the guy from Adam, but this game painted a picture of him that I don't like.
In any case, I think as a result of our critiques, there's not a whole lot else to talk about in narrative. So do you guys just
Definitely
want to
not.
jump over to the questions?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Question number 1. Was this game's method of teaching you rules sufficient to meet its complexity? Should it have offered heuristic paths for solutions? I already kind of spoiled some of this given how I was talking about mimic logic earlier, but I think that the best way to teach in games like this is to offer heuristics or more creative solutions rather than just saying X wall is wrong or whatever. What do you guys think? I will start with Thomas.
I actually think that this game offered too many heuristic paths, but the problem is that when you want to teach via heuristic, you have to start small and gain momentum from there. Like I mean, it's the way that every puzzle game kind of does it, where like you get something brain dead, and then you get something slightly less brain dead, and it just kind of ramps up from there. And I think that that is a way of like avoiding too many heuristics where because like when you're trying to teach via heuristics too much, it can be frustrating. But this game I think just had way too many because I imagine someone who's never played Picross in their entire life installing and launching this game and just looking at this grid and being like, well, what the fuck do I do? And if that's the case, then all they have is just sitting there clicking until something kind of makes sense through trial and error. So, like, yeah, like I said, like too many heuristics. Too many heuristics starting at a level that is too high.
Um, I don't agree that there's too many heuristics. So the two games to easily compare to, 'cause I think we all know them, is Picross. Well, we know enough about it to Picross and Sudoku. Picross is so easy that the game doesn't need to tell you how to solve it. It's basically just like it's so intuitive for basically how the rules are that you don't need to really give the heuristics outside of literally just like change the color of the fucking number if you fucked it up. So like it solved that problem via simplicity of the game and understanding it. Sudoku is a game that I think usually are too easy for you to need to know like the heuristics required for Sudoku, but then once you get past that, if you don't know them, it's an impossible game. But there's so many to them, like there's so many different methods of like even knowing like the hidden pairs and like naked pairs, and then when you get further down, it's like the X-wing stuff and XY wing and all that shit. Like there's so much in there that if you know what they are, the game is so much fucking better because then you start to be able to find where it is and then you solve it. But if not, you basically can't intuit that. Like it's just too fucking hard. This game is more like Sudoku in that it would really benefit if it told the player certain patterns to look for, or like if the game came up with a strategy to solve levels and then tried to explain it to you somehow. Because instead it just kind of feels like that you're just supposed to go down these fucking random paths of try this without a checkpoint system and then just restart the level because you fucked up and oh, what did I try? I don't remember what it was. And it's just like there's not enough there for me. And it just felt like it was all like the trial and error aspect of Sudoku, which is literally just like you stop, you try this, and then you run the logic path down until it doesn't work anymore.
So when I say that I think there's too many like heuristic paths, like what I mean by that is not that not that the game presents you too many like discrete individualized like heuristics, but rather that the one heuristic that they introduce kind of in the tutorial levels, um, like the possibilities are too broad if you like have no idea how these games work or even how if this game works, like because there are so many like possible inferences that you can try,
Right.
but there's only a few like clear given like must be true starting points. And I think the proper way to build like heuristic learning is to provide very obvious must be true starting points, and I don't think that this game does a good job of that.
Yeah, and I think going farther than that, it isn't good at teaching you that. So, for example, if you have a column and it has two bombs in it that are like separated by some amount of distance, and that column is a one, there's only one wall there, then that wall has to be between the two bombs. That might be obvious, but the game never teaches you that because then the thing that follows logically is that everything else that is not between the bombs in that scenario must be empty. So if you have a column where it's bomb, blank, bomb, and then blank for the rest, you know that blank, everything that is not between the bombs is blank, not wall. But the game never teaches you anything like that, even though I feel like it has plenty of opportunities to do so. And it just assumes that you're going to be intuiting a lot of this. And I felt that became much more of a problem the more mechanics that were introduced.
Sure.
Once you had question marks on your columns and your rows, once you had X and Y bombs, that's where it just got to be way too fucking much for me. And again, I think there could have just been something in the game. Like this dude made the puzzles. He has these heuristics. Just write them down and put them in a hint document somewhere.
Yep, agreed. 100%.
Yeah, just a more targeted like hint system would be so much better. Like so much better. Literally, like you click the hint button and it would just be like 5 statements of like you click it once and then you lose a point, right? And then every puzzle gives you 5 points, and then or whatever. And yeah,
like to be clear with that too, it's not even about the difficulty for me because I can appreciate the difficulty in games like this for sure. The problem is the learning curve and how the game is teaching you these things. And if you want to just rely what you put in the tutty levels to teach you those things, fine. But if you're not going to like lay it out and you're just going to let the difficulty be what it is, there's no reason not to put like that information in there. I don't know.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I think I really appreciate when like puzzle games fucking crank the difficulty up to 10, but I don't appreciate this game at all. And I think that really just comes down to like it was never satisfying to get past the like when I solved the puzzle, I wasn't like fuck yeah. It was always just like what's the next fucking horseshit that's about to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like a lot of times the puzzle solving dopamine was front loaded when you get the first the first
exactly
mark, like Thomas was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they do a very bad job of in basically what you guys are saying. They do a very bad job of onboarding because like I think it's important in games like this to start you off with puzzles that just don't require all that much like flexible or intuitive thinking. Like give me something obvious so that when I see it again I'll be like aha, rather than just skipping straight to like having to figure it out because there's like I need precedents to be set, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like especially in a game like this, if you want people to play your game, you're fundamentally telling people that don't understand the heuristic that you've created that they can't play the game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you came up with the system that I would adore if he added, which is just like a catered hint system of here's 5 sentences that would help you solve this puzzle.
Yeah, like fucking like patterns that you would see on like a wiki for Go, right? Like just show me like some very basic
Oh, sure, that too.
things that I could like integrate into like my pattern recognition software in my brain as I'm playing this.
Yeah. And that would also be, I think that's a lot more effort to design that. I was more just saying, like, literally, if you get stuck, you click the hint button, then it says like the first hint would be like, remember, bombs can blow each other up, and then like there's 5 hints, and then the 5th hint would literally just be like, put it in the first square, you idiot, or something like that.
Yeah. I was misunderstanding what you guys are saying, but
That's what I'm saying. Where like
that's definitely important.
Because I think he went with a Picross style hint system, but with a game that's like complicated, like fucking pick the hardest puzzle game you know, which is like a bad mix.
And where it's kind of outright calling you a cheater if you decide to.
But
the choice is yours.
That's a whole other can of worms.
Ben, did you have anything you wanted to say for this?
I don't think I can have this is what I was kind of implying before earlier when I said like I don't think I can have a legitimate opinion on this particular subject because like if the game was made more for me, like there were like the first, like how I didn't actually finish them all, but like how you beat the first like 7 levels and like it like the game like opens up. It's like you're playing Fallout and you're stepping out into like the actual like outside world for the first time. I didn't even get that far. So like for someone like me, like Matthew Matosis straight up would have needed to like yellow paint the first 7 levels. You know what I mean? Like to like that's how I would have needed to be taught as a non-puzzle game enjoyer.
Yeah.
Like I would need those levels to be like, put this here.
I mean that's what we've been saying though. That's what this game lacks.
Yeah, but like I don't, and the fact that you guys like brought that up as like a viable solution makes me think that maybe like my hesitation is unwarranted. But I felt like making the game like that would make the game worse for people that like these games.
No, not at all.
No shot.
There's
the hint system that is in the
puzzle
game
does that. Yeah, every puzzle game does what we're talking about. That I can
okay.
Like it's very rare for a puzzle game to start at the level that this game does. I feel like.
Okay,
and to definitely not have a way to help you in a way that doesn't feel terrible.
Yeah, because like this might literally be the first game I've ever played that's like this, like literally ever. You know what I mean? So I don't know like what the standard like conventions are.
Yeah, I'd say the only game I can think of that starts off harder than this is Tactical Nexus.
Dr. Kagushi's Labyrinthine.
Oh, okay, yeah, that game was fucking crazy too.
But that game is like very outwardly like, hey, don't play this as like even like your 15th puzzle game you've ever played. Like, hey, only play this if you really, really, really love tough Sokobans.
There's one other game I can think of that's about this difficult, but I forget the name. It's like Block Wizard or something like that.
And also, I don't think Tactical Nexus is difficult necessarily. I think it's overwhelming, which is completely
that's
different.
True.
Like, I think it's very simple in how you can approach it, but it gets overwhelming fucking fast when you start to think of all the paths.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that game also fundamentally asks you to be min-maxing at all points.
Yeah, exactly.
Both because of the requirement to actually beat a level, but also because of the scaling amount of rewards or whatever you get for beating each tower.
I mean, I could talk about that game in this whole episode, so I don't want to focus on that too much. But
to be fair to Logic Bombs and to denigrate Tactical Nexus a little bit, if you guys didn't explain to me how Tactical Nexus works, I would have never figured it out from the actual tutorials that the game actually provides. It would have been impossible.
Well, to I guess find a middle ground there. I'm pretty sure the guys that make that game don't speak a lick of English.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I did. Yeah.
Well,
it's unfair to me to not bring that up, but yeah, that is the main reason why.
But to be fair, the Brits don't speak a lick of English too. So
that is true. America is so much better. And when I say America, I mean the language America.
Yeah, I think even
and-
then, I think Tactical Nexus still has like a more intuitive feel to it than this game does. Because if this game didn't tell you anything, you'd be fucked. You'd never be able to figure it out. Tactical
yeah.
Nexus, you could still be able to try to like walk around and be like, "What the fuck's going on?" Like if
Bro.
you actually had to try.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like
Ugh.
think. I'm trying to think of like more games where they start off at a difficulty level like this, because like there's like one thing that I think a lot of Zachtronics games do, like Space Chem does this to some degree, is like you have like the first level that's pretty easy, a second level where you're like, whew, the third level where you're like wiping sweat off your brow, and then the fourth level is like, oh my fucking god, like.
Yeah.
Like there's a very like sharp like degree, like a very sharp incline in how difficult the puzzles get with each level, but they always start at that like bottom like dum dum level.
Yeah, like Zachtronics games are the perfect example of how to do a difficulty curve. Like I'm thinking of Codex of Alchemical Engineering, like perfectly linearly. Where Codex of Alchemical Engineering first level is like make a lever and switch it 180 degrees and drop it and repeat and you're done. And then the next one is now use two levers and do the same thing. And then the one after that is okay, now combine them. It's just adding a new layer
Yeah.
each time and building upon the previous.
I mean, the version of this game that is like close to Masterclass is made by Zachtronics and it's called Dungeons and Diagrams. And that game's and it's inside of Last Call BBS. That game is fucking amazing and it never really gets overwhelmingly hard. Like this game's fifth puzzle is probably as hard as that game's like 23rd. Like, and it just that game feels so fucking good to solve. It's crazy.
I also just want to bring up one last time because I don't think we're gonna get into it, but if you're gonna tell me to relax and enjoy this game for relaxation, please don't make the heuristics as complex as this game. Drop one of those two qualities, please.
Also, give me some relaxing music.
Yeah.
Sit back and relax was the most ridiculous thing ever. Like because they're like because meta puzzles are really the fucking hard part about puzzle games. Shut the fuck up. The hard part about Void Stranger was the fucking Sokoban part.
Well, with that as a pivot, with meta puzzles as my pivot to the next question, did this game differentiate itself substantially enough from the source inspiration Picross to be of value? If not, what should it have done to stand out? And my answer is meta puzzles. Why did you explicitly say there are no meta puzzles in this game? I would have enjoyed this game more if you just didn't say that there weren't meta puzzles and then didn't include meta puzzles. And I was just thinking, oh, maybe all these levels like combine on like a grid with the parts that extend past the grid, and you have to connect them. Like, oh, that'd be cool. I'll like snip some of the images and save them. No, you just told me that I shouldn't engage with the qualities of your game. Okay.
I don't know. Counterpoint to that, I guess, would be sometimes I find it frustrating when I feel like I'm threading together some kind of like overarching like meta narrative puzzle, and it just turns out that I was huffing my own farts and there's nothing there. So I can understand like wanting to say, "Hey, by the way, don't huff your own farts." I get what you're saying too, though.
Yeah, I just feel like it's disincentivizing you from engaging with the game. I guess I don't know. But what about you guys? Sash, why don't you set this one?
Sorry, I was thinking about the meta puzzle stuff too much. I gotta read the question again. Yeah, so I think this game differentiated itself enough from Picross in all the wrong ways. I think every other game that tries to be like this teaches the player how to play it better, is a more enjoyable experience to solve, has music, and has better like rewards for solving the things. And yeah, there's nothing like if I played this game before Dungeons and Diagrams, I would think that maybe, but I played Dungeons and Diagrams first and then this game, and I think this game is like it doesn't even, you wouldn't even know the lights on in the hallway for this game if you played that game first.
How much would this game ascend for you if you were just listening to the Void Stranger soundtrack?
It would be so much better. It would be so, if it was Void Stranger soundtrack and Dungeons and Diagrams visuals, it would probably jump up like literally like 6 points. Because like Dr. Kabushi's Labyrinthine Laboratory is kind of like that, where it has fucking sick ass music made by Fear Dark and like pretty sick visuals, but it's just so fucking hard from like basically level 2, where it's like fuck. But in a way that doesn't feel like this, because this game just felt like trial and error to me. Like it didn't feel good like Picross or any of the other games. It just felt like I was resolved to fucking trial and error in a lot of spots, and it was trash.
That Delta +6 I'm confident I guessed your score correctly.
I was
can't
actually
be negative.
sitting. I was actually sitting here thinking, like, damn, I wonder if I guessed too high.
I think I did too.
But plus 6 still keeps me in range.
But I mean, I value stuff like that a shitload too. Like, I don't really like games. If you're perfectly designed though, then that also I value that a lot too. But if you do nothing else and I think the design sucks, it's not going well. We
Yeah,
resolve a lot via visuals and audio for me.
yeah, you and I definitely see eye to eye on that, I think.
Also, if he added like meta puzzles, like if it would have been like some crazy meta puzzle shit, I think this game would be like that would probably only be like 2 points higher because I don't think I would have got to him because I think that the core gameplay is so fucking garbage. But I thought it would have been cool.
Or just
It's-
like maybe not even a meta puzzle, but something like you get to the end of a row. Let me draw an example. We haven't played Understand for this, but Understand, think of it as divided into rows like this game is, and it kind of is like that. And at the end of each row, the level is a meta puzzle. So, like for example, you'll get to the meta puzzle for the first set, and you can quickly intuit some of the basic rules you need to do, like, okay, draw a line from point A to point B, okay, draw a line from point A to point B and go through all the stars. It introduces early, you can't go around everything you need to go around, so you have to draw your line outside the box, like think you're playing
Sure.
Witness and you have to draw outside your panel. And then on the very last level, because you have to draw through all the stars in order to finish the level, like all the star icons that show on the map, on the last level, there's no star. But the last level on every level of that game has a star on the right to show that you finished the set. So you actually have to draw outside and then go through the star on the outside of the thing. And this game could have done something along those lines where you just introduce a new rule at the end of the row that changes how you were meant to interpret that rule. And now there's a second set of solutions for each like level on that row. Is that a lot? Yeah, but it would have made it sit out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, I can have a lot of ideas like that too. Like, literally, the end of the row is a boss, and that's like some crazy mechanical shit or something. But like, and that would be a lot more, and obviously not what this guy's going for. So I don't hold him to that much. But you are right in that something like that would be fucking awesome.
Thomas?
So I have not played Dungeons and Diagrams, so I don't have that frame of reference, but that leads me to saying that do I think that this game meaningfully like differentiates itself from something like Picross? Yes, but is it for all the right reasons? Not necessarily, but I think I actually, so as much as I've been like absolutely like dumping on this game, I actually do enjoy like the general puzzle loop. My problem is just mostly in regards to like presentation and like difficulty curve. So I do actually, because I actually think that the rule for like separating the slimes and the cats and the bombs into their own like group, I thought was actually like an interesting idea. Um, that did separate itself from Picross. Like that's the rule I think of specifically when I think of how it differentiates itself. And I actually liked that rule. My problem is just purely in how the game initialized all of that shit and just made it too frustrating out of the gates.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of mention why I asked this question. It was kind of just a callback to when we talked about Estrella ages ago, and Seth said something along these lines where if you're going to carbon copy a game, you better do it really goddamn well. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a negative rating immediately. Or I'm unsure of how you worded it exactly, but that is how I feel about this game. The more I played it, where at first I was like, oh, okay, this is just complex Picross. This is just like hard Picross. But the more I played, the less I felt that way because I remembered Picross is actually really complicated. Like this game is only on a 10 by 10 grid. Picross goes up to like 15 by 20. And it introduces more mechanics just like this game does with the colors and the Mega Picross. So it literally just felt like an off-brand Picross to me, and that's why it didn't stand out.
Quick translator's note, I do believe that this game actually does go up to a 15 by 15 grid later.
What the? Oh, very well.
Guarantee it doesn't separate it like Picross does, so it's hard to look at visually. Sorry, that's just me talking shit about the UI.
I don't know how that would look on this UI. That's interesting. Ben, did you have anything you wanted to comment on here?
The only thing I have to comment is that I know way more about logic bombs than I do Picross. That's because I don't know anything about Picross.
I think if I have to pick an intermezzo game, I'll probably pick Super Mario Picross for the SNES, so you can kind of see it.
It's a good one.
Just to play like a couple levels or whatever. It's like it's so much more approachable than this game. It's fucking laughable.
Yeah, Picross is
I hope so,
much more
because
straightforward.
like I've felt a little embarrassed honestly when I was playing through this game and I wanted to uninstall on the first level, which I couldn't beat.
No, you really shouldn't. Like this
No,
game
yeah.
is it's completely on the game too.
Like, but
You know-
I like it embarrasses me to say that because I really did want to be fair to the game. But like, if it wasn't chosen for this, it wouldn't 100% would have been Steam refunded before I
Sure.
beat the first level.
I think it's totally reasonable, and I don't think that's your fault or anything. I think the game is so bad at onboarding new players, especially if you're not
Yeah.
familiar with the genre at all. Like, it sounds like a miserable experience. So I can only imagine what
Yeah.
you went through.
You know, I'm really curious, like, as this guy was developing this game and like shortly before he released it, like, what was his like target demographic? Was it like mid 30s, extremely like well-versed puzzle gamers who also own Game Boys? Like, who's this game for?
That's why I still don't understand the Game Boy thing. Like, why is that what you're trying to target here? Is this guy's like are all of his fans just huge retro fans? Is that what's going on? I don't get it either.
Yeah, I guess there's the content creator angle that I don't know. Maybe he just like fucking loves the Game Boy as a meme or something. I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, I have literally no evidence at all. I think it's just he really, really wanted to do it, and that's literally it's just not that deep, maybe.
Okay, let's go ahead and knock out this third question. Then we'll do awards and wrap up. Does this game have any more level of depth than a complicated set of if-then statements? Why or why not? And is that a bad or a good thing?
I'll just answer first because it'll be really quick. I don't know enough to even begin formulating an answer to this question, and that's where I stand. And
Yeah,
I pass it on.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I get to say no. I literally think that's all it is. It's funny because when I wrote my answer to the second question, I wrote like, "There's too much if this, then this too early," and then I read this question and was like, "Oh shit, that's funny." um, so yeah, you know, it's like to me, that's literally all it felt like. It literally just felt like reductive reasoning, and it was just like borderline trial and error in some levels of just not good puzzle design in my opinion. And I thought it was just terrible.
Yeah, and I largely agree. And I quit when I got to the quadratic equation levels because those literally just felt like a to the power of whatever additional if then statements that I had to run through for each
Yeah.
level, and it just felt like so much. That being said, there was one rule, I guess, that's a spoiler for my award later, I guess, that I did like that did not feel like an if then statement. And it's the one that Thomas was describing earlier, like tracing the paths and segmenting the
Oh, sure.
guys. I like that one a lot. And the levels that focused on that were the best levels.
You know, I think you're definitely right in that there was some like that level in particular felt very intuitive, and I think if you found a way to make more intuitive patterns, and then you could recognize like the numbers would result in like actually making like square rooms and would feel good for if you like kind of made like cool pattern shit, but instead it just felt like he was trying to like trick you of like where the fucking rooms actually were. It didn't feel like he was working with you, he was working against you. At least that was my experience.
I'm not sure. There was some where it just felt like I had exhausted all of my potential if then statements that you would typically run through.
Mm-hmm.
But then you would realize, oh, I have like 5 balls here because these 2 paths can't connect.
Yeah.
Because of the blue guy rule. And it just felt like a nice reprieve every time that happened. How about you, Thomas?
I think Tom's. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Look, I guess my answer to this would be like yes. It has way too many like if this then that kind of situations. Like I was saying before, like I feel like the extent like I used my spatial reasoning in the very beginning of this puzzle trying to like mull over what my first move is by visualizing the grid in my head, and then after I figure out that like this must be true move, then after that it is literally just a process of like rigorously running down like if statements in my head.
Yeah.
And that can be fun. Like that is the thing that is very, very like endemic to getting you into that flow state we were talking about kind of at the top of this thing. But the problem with this game, like I said before, was that I think there's maybe one too many rules in the mental stack that kind of take you out of that if this then that flow. Um, and just kind of unnecessarily complicated in a way that breaks it up in a way that isn't really fun or enjoyable, I guess is a better word.
Yeah.
I agree with that, and to kind of add on top to it, I feel like what really makes the if then qualities bad is because or it's when the difficulty begins ramping up and there are fewer and fewer and fewer
Yep.
if thens that you can answer for each row
Yeah.
and column. So,
Big
for
time.
example, on the one you linked, like you could probably solve some of those pretty quickly, like row by row, if you really wanted to. But it quickly becomes the case that you can't do that, and especially without
Yeah.
a way to notate, it just becomes a time-consuming process to
Yes.
eventually find the one row where you can actually do something.
Yep.
No,
100%.
you're completely right, and you nailed it. And I think that's just something I want to highlight. That's like sick about Sudoku, like because Sudoku, you can just like look and be like, oh, there's a bunch of sixes. Where do the other sixes go? Like you can quickly identify. Picross is the same thing, right? Like, oh, there's a 10, bam, or oh, there's 5 ones in a 10 by 10 or whatever the fuck, where like you just go like 1 0 1 0 1 0 or things like that, and you can like quickly make assessments. In this game, it wasn't that. In this game, you'd look at a bomb and be like, okay, that bomb bombs with a bunch of things, like, and you would just have to like go through all of these like annoying ass mental checklist bullshit things that weren't like quick to assess at all.
Yeah, I actually started skipping levels in row two because like I said, I beat maybe like 60% of the levels in row two, and the what would happen is I would finish a level and then I would click onto the next one, and if I just saw like a like big lattice matrix of bombs and
Yeah.
cats, I just skipped to the next one because I was like, I don't
Yeah.
want to have to sit here, count the bombs, count how many targets there are for each bomb, count how many fucking cats can be exploded by the bombs, figure out where I need to break things up. Like I just don't want to do it.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. That's basically what mine was too. Like it never, like I said, it never felt good. Like there were only like slight patterns that felt good, and it was like in the earlier levels where the game was basically just Picross.
I linked this one from row two, and I have a feeling that's what you had in mind.
Yep, that is one that I absolutely skipped 100%. And the crazy thing is it gives you like really obvious givens too, right? But even with that, it was still like nah.
It's just it's just a lot to look at and process, which is, again, it's the total opposite from the source material of Picross, where
Yep.
it you just have a blank slate and you're going to find your starting points, your 15s or 13s, whatever, do those, and then you're off to the races. But this game just throws all of that difficulty at the start. It presents all the problems at the start, and you just de-escalate from there.
Yeah. No, completely agreed. Like they did the difficulty like backwards completely. Like you need to be able to give me something, even if it means just make the grid bigger and then have the design better.
You guys want to just jump over to awards?
Yep.
So I wrote down. I just kind of wrote these from my experience because I couldn't think of much that you guys would be able to give too much input on. But did you guys have any rules that stood out to you that you really liked, or that stood out as bad?
For me, by default, it would have to be wall limitations because it was the only rule that I actually learned.
Is that best or worse then?
I guess worse is everything else 'cause I didn't really learn them per se.
Yeah, I think the overall rule set and idea is nice. I think the zone rule set is dog shit, and just if Dungeons and Diagrams wasn't made, he wouldn't have came up with that. And I think the game would have been better off without having that.
And like I said, having not played that game, I actually liked the zone rule because I feel like it did provide like a more a spicy twist on Picross that I at least enjoyed.
No idea what Seth just posted.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this one up. It's actually my favorite rule, even though this is
Yeah.
the tutorial one that I linked to Thomas. Or
Yeah,
yeah.
I actually liked this one too because you asked like, how do you guys think this works? And I had to stare at it for a couple of minutes, but it did actually end up making a lot of sense. Like
Yeah.
after it kind of clicked.
Yeah, I thought that the way it's trying to teach you is pretty dog water in my opinion, but the rule itself is quite cool. What it's saying, Sesh, is that the number of walls in the rows and the number of walls in the columns have to add up to the same number. So if you only have question marks in the columns, if you only have question marks in the columns, you can kind of figure out how many walls are supposed to be based on the difference between the rows and the columns. So in the case of the one I linked, it would have to be 0 because they already add up to 39 individually.
So like, were
You
there
said words, and like I understand the words that you said, but I have no fucking idea what that has to do with 39 and what the fuck anything else, how anything in that
That's
shit
why I
adds
hate
up to
how it was
zero.
taught. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna disagree here, and that's purely just on my gayness because I was able to just stare at it for a couple of minutes and I figured out how it works. But like, you have Sigma 39, Sigma aka the mathematical sign for summation.
Sure.
So, the numbers like 223588 blah blah blah, it all adds up to 39. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then I added up the top row, and that adds up to 39. So my brain went, oh, okay, so then the question marks must be 0, which I think is the exact conversation I had with you about it, Seth.
Why are
And
there pluses in the fucking arrows?
so that's
That's a
actually
good
what I was
question.
that's actually what I was gonna ask. Like later on, do they have like minus and multiplication to try and get to the fucking question marks? Because that would be annoying.
Not on this row. No.
Does it ever have that?
No, this is the only level where those pluses and question marks, or pluses and arrows, came in. Every level from that, like most of the levels on that row from that point on, just had the sigma with the number showing what it added to as like a quality of life. This row adds to this much, and most of the puzzles were just figuring out how many walls the question marks were supposed to have.
I can kind of like appreciate this to some degree because like if this guy really wanted to go whole hog and start introducing like system of polynomial equations like we're back in fucking like algebra 2 or whatever, like there's some merit to that, but again, who is this game for?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. The more I'm sitting here and thinking of it, I'm just getting angry because I'm just thinking like how
Yeah,
douchey this fucking thing is. It's so fucking douchey.
because again, individually, this was my favorite rule out of all of them. I think. However, if you're gonna put the sigma notation in a
Yeah.
game where you're trying to tell me to relax, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So fucking douchey. To me, it reads like, "Hey, I know what sigma means." Like, why the plus is there?
You know,
I
the
have no
real
idea.
douchey thing would be if he got into the game later on and started talking about like bicubic interpolation
Sure.
matrices or some shit.
Yeah,
That would
just
be
like
funny.
flexing math fucking shit.
Yeah, because I mean, these games are basically the words that I said, like distilled down. But yeah, it is douchey.
Did you guys have any levels that stood out to you in bad or good ways?
Awful is the level where they tell you about the cheat button.
Yep.
That
Yep.
almost single-handedly made me never play the game
Yep.
again. But I did come back to it, and I actually did enjoy the level that I posted a couple screenshots up of the incline because that's like the one instance where um, they introduced like the linguistic reasoning side of it, where I read the word incline and then I looked at it and I could just kind of like picture in my head what it was supposed to look like, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I liked that one. That's the only level that does that, to my knowledge, though. So.
I mean, worst is what Tom said for me, and then best is like probably the first or the second level where it played more like Picross than it did the game. I
They're all
really
the
didn't
same to
like
me.
any of the games.
Yeah, worst was definitely that one. I felt the same about it as you guys did. I think the best generally were any that leaned into the path slash zone segmenting mechanic. I thought that was pretty fun. And then this one also, oddly enough, even though this one was with the X's and the Y's, this one did not require me to do quadratic formulas. And so this one actually stood out to me as a good use of that mechanic.
I don't understand what the X's and the Y's are.
All of the same letter bombs are the same number. So basically, in this one, since there's only 6 cats, one of them has to be 1, one of them has to be 0. You just have to
I didn't
figure
realize
that out.
bombs could be 0. I never got to
Yeah,
that.
there's a couple levels like that. But in any case, I think we're just about done. So for next week, we are.
We didn't do
just-
ratings, bro.
Oh yeah, we gotta do ratings. Thomas, why don't you start?
All right, so I guess we have like a new system for doing this now, since we're, FYI to our dedicated fan base. We're all gonna start guessing each other's scores prior to when we meet, like prior to when we actually start recording this thing, and seeing who can tally up the most like correct guesses, just based on vibes or whatever. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do with that info, but we should figure something out. But regardless. So after I give my fucking rating, then you can just do !Tom, and it'll give the guesses that you guys put in. You'll need the ID though, so I think. I forget how I did this actually. I would have to remember.
Well, you
I already
could start
put in
then.
I already put in my guesses. Do I need to do anything else?
No, just hey, hold on to your hat. I'll try and remember how the fuck I did this. But in any case, as far as my final rating here goes, yeah, like I said, I didn't overall hate the just kind of general puzzle loop. I thought that there were some good ideas, but they were all presented in an extremely obtuse and like maybe overly aggressive way. Um, and then everything else in the game, like I'm just gonna put as much effort into this final rating as he did into everything that wasn't a puzzle in this game, and just say 5 out of 10. Jordan, you guessed 2.
Yeah.
Ben nailed it with 5. Nice.
Wow.
And
Fuck.
Seth was close with 4.
Damn.
Damn.
I can't believe
Well,
you're at a fucking 5. That's crazy.
Good shit, Ben.
I can't believe you put fucking your comment was fucking bullshit then.
I mean, like I said, I think so with some small tweaks and like a MIDI file of Vivaldi's Winter, I would have played this game a lot more.
I'm really curious about Ben's rating next.
Good, Ben.
You want me to go?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like given my limited like knowledge and experience with this game, basically I got front seat gaming experience with this one. Like Thomas, without Thomas, I would have not got past the first level. So I really can only like rate and comment on like the craftsmanship, which I think we literally mentioned in literally just like the last task how silly it is to like do a traditional like 2 for graphics out of like like how 2 of the points are for graphics, 2 of the points for like fun factor, 2 of the points for sound. But like I feel like I just have to give the game a 6 out of 10 because like it was a game that functions. I give a lot of like there's like the context doing some of the heavy lifting of like how I know about like the content creator that made this game, and like I kind of just have to imagine like what he went through in making this game and everything he learned and how long it took. So I kind of just give it. I don't know. It's a 6 out of 10. And I do want to reiterate, kind of like I did in the last hash, where I use like the Asian dad grading system. So like if you just imagine you were in middle school and you got a 60 out of 100 on a test, like how would your dad react to that? And depending on your dad, you might have to pretend that my dad is your dad.
I've met your dad before, so I can see it.
Yeah, so it's my 6 out of 10.
All right.
Well, I was wrong by a mile again.
I fucking
I
nailed it.
nailed it.
Seth fucking nailed it. And Jordan didn't metagame Ben's rating system enough to know that twos.
He doesn't give a 2.
Yeah, twos would be reserved for I design cybermancy maybe.
So
I don't
so here's the thing, 2 is not actually wrong. If I did not play this game for Tash,
Yeah,
this game would have gone to 0.
exactly.
Straight up straight up a
True.
0 out of 10 Steam refund within the
Yeah.
first 4 minutes.
That's where I fucked up because I thought that's how you would rate it. Of like you wouldn't have got by the game in like 2 minutes, so it would be like not applicable would be your rating. So I was like, maybe he'll say 2 because he liked something about it.
You metagamed yourself.
I know it's crazy.
That's funny. That's good stuff. All right, who's up next?
Sesh, how about
Yeah, I fucking hate this game a lot. And I'm surprised you guys didn't think that I would hate this game a lot. I think it does like basically nothing that I like other than the fact of like it exists. So for me, it's a 1.5.
Damn.
Oh, you had put it up to a 2 just so I can be right, you motherfucker.
You
Yeah,
would have been
exactly.
right before this conversation, but then after during Tash, I was like, oh my god, I really hate this game. Like I don't appreciate what this guy did like in any aspect. So I went down to 1.5.
Yeah, no one got that
I think
one.
myself.
I actually
I'm
guessed.
close.
I actually guessed the highest with 4.
That's crazy. If the
Yeah,
game
I
had
guess
music and shit,
too.
it might be a 4.
Yeah, I guessed 4. Ben guessed 2, and Seth guessed 3.
Oh, Ben's right.
Oh, I thought I guessed 2. Shit.
Wait.
Yeah, Ben, you get half a point either direction.
Are we not doing Oh, I didn't code that in. I'm gonna have to do that.
I mean, it's fine. I figured you probably didn't touch any of that, and we're all
So
floating
basically,
around
I'm
too.
completely right.
I feel like whoever's closest, if nothing else, right?
No, Price is Right rules.
Yeah.
Although you can go
We'll figure
over, I
something
guess.
out.
In any case, as for me, I think we talked about this a bit with Estrella. Again, I think when we're talking about carbon copy games like this I'm going to start at a 5, and depending on what impresses me or what detracts from my experience, I'm going to bring it down or up. I think that the hint system by itself probably brought it down all the way to a 1 right off the bat. That was just so disgusting to me, coupled with the methods by which it taught its rules, and just nothing really standing out to me as that impressive. As I played it more and more, I kind of got into that flow state we described. I kind of enjoyed myself in a Picrossy way, even if at times it was very mentally taxing. But I can't get over the fact that I had to try as hard as I could to forget that the hint system in this game existed because it was so abhorrent to me. So I'm giving this game a 3.
Ah, damn it, I suck.
Wow,
Fucking
dude,
dicks.
I was way off.
Yeah, me too. You played it so much. I was like, he can't give it less than a 6.
Did you guys not see? Did you guys not see that comment? I know you saw it, Sesh.
Of
I mean,
yeah, of like I'm only playing this game
Yeah.
to see if I hate it because of this reason or that reason. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's
I
fair.
was mad at this game.
That's fair. I just figured you have good tolerance for garbage then.
yeah, seriously. Like, you played this game so much for someone who rated it a fucking 3.
Yeah, I respect that though. That's badass.
You guys know me. I fucking love my popcorn puzzle games, and when I can play this shit at work, it's perfect.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like it
I'm
was
still
a
pissed Ben
pastime
gave it a
work.
fucking 6.
I nailed that.
He likes this game more than he likes Edith Finch.
Jordan and Ben, you guys both guessed 6, and I was even further off by guessing 7.5.
Yeah. When he started talking right now, I was like, I should have went to fucking 8.
Oh shit, that's mad funny.
That's really funny. I feel like I hit it well. That's going to be the new layer of
I guess
Tash
so.
meta.
it's either that or I just didn't really, because I remember reading that message from you, but I guess I just didn't get that vibe because
Yeah,
I just assumed from the fact that you were the only person that just kept playing this game that I just assumed you liked it.
No,
exactly.
you guys, you don't understand. I played League of Legends for like 10
Yeah,
years.
I mean,
Like I
it's
put up
funny.
with shit games.
It's crazy.
All right. Well, I have an announcement to make, which is we have a new lowest rated game.
Oh shit!
And
Wow.
That's
it is
crazy.
It is Logic Bombs at 3.88.
What did Life Lessons get?
Life lessons 5.25.
How was Life Lessons of 5.25? That's crazy. I guess I kind of
I
did
mean,
that.
relatively to this game, it tracks. I think
mean,
that's the right proportion.
We were all kind of like around the same delta, where two of us voted 6 and one of us rated it 5.5, and then Jordan came in with his like always 2 points below
3.5,
everyone
yeah.
else rating. And I guessed Ben correctly, and Ben guessed me correctly because we're fucking symbiotes.
Didn't Ben get them all right if we're doing the half point? Neither. Oh, I guess not
I
Seth,
didn't
because we
get
all fucked
Seth
up
right.
Seth. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Wild
Seth
card.
got,
got me
Seth
and
got
you,
banned.
yeah.
Seth
Now
got
you guys are
banned.
gonna have to really double think every time that
No,
you
I
have
think
to
that's
guess
awesome.
my rating.
I mean, that's why I pitched this, because I think it just kind of gamifies it and makes it fun.
I'm also I don't think you guys would have put me off a 10 out of 10 for Claire Obscure too. I was 9.5 for that.
I mean, with the
Yeah,
half point,
that's
you still
actually
get it.
surprising. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, we need to figure
That's
out
true.
a system or something. We'll figure out something. But yeah, this is mostly just for fun. I think even just having like to guess at something is fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like literally just
Yeah.
that by itself was,
Yeah,
I thought, was value added.
Uh,
And there doesn't need to be any more. Like there
yeah,
needs to be no further elaboration. It was just fun to
yeah.
fucking guess.
to just say "God damn it"
Good
every
times.
time you guys said the number.
I just need to fix the bot command and we'll be good.
I'm gonna
It's
start
fine.
doing some. I'm gonna start doing some bait and switching in the channel. Like, guys,
Oh,
I
yeah.
really enjoyed this. No, I didn't, bitch.
Yeah, I'm curious what
funny.
you guys are gonna guess for my 1,000 extras this score, given I fucking simped for that game big time in that channel
Yeah, I still need to play
over like a few messages, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop.
Speaking of 1000x resist, as a quick closeout, we have completed Logic Bombs for this week. For the following week, as we mentioned last week, we're going to be playing 1000x resist for next week and then discussing it.
I can't wait to talk to you guys about that game
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's a good one.